So how's everyone doing after that season 2 finale? Not good? Well, I feel the same. But in hopes of holding on to all things Arcane, let's do a tier list of season 1 and season 2's main characters. Now remember, before we go into this, the tier list isn't based on how well they were written, but rather how much I like them personally. So don't come at me in the comments for some of my rankings, alright? So first off, we got Vander, and I'm gonna have to put him in S tier. I'm gonna count this Vander as both Vander and Warwick, just because the tier list didn't have Warwick. But to be honest, even separately, I would have put both at S tier. Vander was just such a cool person in season 1, and I could just tell bro was just a chill dude. I mean, he legit gave up a war just to live a peaceful and happy life. What more could you want from him? And from Warwick, he was mutilated so much, yet he was still able to stop himself from killing his daughters. Moving on to Silco, I'm sorry, but I gotta put him at A tier. I really like the character and all, but I just can't forgive him for the fact that he was willing to kill his friend's daughters just like that at the start of season 1. Like, I didn't expect that from him, so because of that, he goes down 1 tier. Now for Jinx, I think it would be a disservice if I didn't put her at S tier. Just personally speaking here, I feel like I relate to her on a level that no one else can, for the better or worse. Her entire life, she's been the one everyone pointed hands at, the one that took the blame for everything, even though it was her fault. And for some reason, I really resonate with that, and I just think she's a really sick character. For Savika, I'm gonna have to put her at A tier. I didn't like her as much throughout the first season just because she easily switched sides from Vander's to Silco's, but in the second season, I kinda grew to like her. Her affection towards Jinx and Isha, I think, is what made me grow a sweet spot for her, and that she also got a lot more screen time in the second season. On to Benzo, he's going into not enough information just because I feel like he wasn't shown enough for me to really get to know the character and form an opinion on her. Same for Sky. But on to Vi. This may be a little controversial, but I'm gonna have to put her in B tier. Don't get me wrong, she was a very well written character, but I just don't get her at all. I think the biggest example of this is at the end of season 2. Like, bro just started staring at Vander, although it was heavily notioned that Vander was gone all throughout the episode. I mean, they tried to bring back Vander throughout the entire fight, yelling his name, but he didn't come back. And no matter how much Vi and Caitlyn tried to get Vander back, he would keep on attacking. So it's perplexing to me why she would stand there looking at Vander, waiting for him to wake up. Like, bro, if you just had gone your merry way, you could at least had Jinx still alive. But no, now you don't have Jinx or Vander. And now I don't have Jinx. So I'm pretty mad at her if you can't tell. But enough with the Vi slander, let's move on to Caitlyn. She's going right into C tier. Like, bro, she moved on from Vi so quickly. Like, well, that pretty much made me lose all respect for her. She let the rage consume her. Then she lost it all in an instant. Like, how in the world are you able to forgive the human being that killed your mother so easily? Whether it was intentional or not. Me personally, I could never. I feel like she just switched sides a lot, and that's probably what made me dislike her so much. Now on to Jace Talus, my king. Bro is going straight up into S tier. Like, in my opinion, he's one of the most coolest people in all of Arcane. Especially his entire design after coming out of the Hex multiverse. It just looks so sick. I mean, that's really all for Jace. He's a sick character, but moving on to Echo. You already know he's going into S tier. He absolutely clutched up. Like, Vi who? Caitlyn who? Jace who? Echo is who? He saved the universe, but he couldn't save the reason why he saved the universe. Makes sense? I was just trying to make some super inspirational quote, but you get my point. Echo is the GOAT. But next is Victor, and he's gonna have to go into A tier. I honestly loved his arc in the first season when, you know, he was actually the good guy and he had his whole like growing arc and his entire like growth arc, but he did kind of try to kill everyone and take over Earth in season 2, so I don't know, it just wouldn't feel right putting him at A tier. Because if he did succeed, Jinx wouldn't be alive, and we can't have that happen. Next up is our old buddy Heimerdinger. He is gonna go straight into S tier. He's probably the single most wisest guy in all of Arcane, and his cheerful attitude is just amazing. I also think he has some of the most wholesome and funniest scenes in all of Arcane, so he's gonna be up there. Now, Mbessa is also gonna take her rightful place in S tier. Those last couple of episodes in Mbessa, and really just the entirety of season 2, she was just so bad and she was just so cool. Like, the fight sequence at the end of the season itself, with herself battling against Kate and Mel, is one of the best, if not one of the best fight sequences in all of Arcane. And for that itself, I would put Mbessa in S tier. But I also think it's part how smart she is and how calculated everything is with her. She's like a sly wolf or a bear or something. I don't really know. But we're gonna move on to Milo and Cligor. I think it's only right we put them together because they're pretty much bros at this point. They died together, they lived together. I mean, they're pretty much together. So Clygor is gonna go into A tier. He was always nice to Powder. But for Milo, I'm gonna have to knock him down to B tier. He always made Powder feel useless and undermined her. So we're gonna have to put him a little bit lower. For Singed, he's gonna have to go into D tier. I know, what could he have possibly done to get him placed in D tier? Well, that, my friends, is simple. He had a happy ending. Arguably, out of everyone in Arcane, he was the only one that got the ending he wanted, to be with his daughter again. And for that, I will hate him, because he was a little bit of the reason that Jinx died. And I don't like Jinx's death, although her alleged death. But moving on to Isha, she is obviously an S tier. I just love everything about her personality. Like, she is just one of the most nonchalant dreadhead without dreads out there, if you catch my flow. Jokes aside, I just really like how she was able to change Jinx, and to me, she's like a mini Jinx, my most favorite character in the entire show. So you already know she's going in S tier. Now on to Maddie. Unfortunately, I won't be able to put her in any tier here. She needs her own tier. While I can't show you guys what the tier is called, I think you can probably guess what it is. I'll give you a hint. It starts with a B and ends with a H. And I don't even think I need to explain myself why she's in this tier and why I gave her this rating. So let's move on to the next character. Loris. My man Loris is going straight up into S tier. Bro just randomly showed up in Vi's life one day and become a straight up homie. He legit did nothing but good the entire TV show, and he died to such a quiet death. So in remembrance, I just think he has to go into S tier. So guys, that is the end of my ranking. And I know there are more characters to be ranked, but they're pretty minor characters, and the video would go on forever if I did rank them. So we're gonna gloss over them for now. But be sure to comment down below what you would rank these characters, and then also a sub would be amazing, and I'll see everyone in my next video.